I'll go
Oh,
Zoom. There you go.
but well, hey, Zoom's working, even if Cloudflare's not
Oh,
consistently.
Cloudflare's
Consistently.
down, so is SaaS Alerts having
See,
issues?
it's so nice to sleep in on the West Coast, isn't it? All of that craziness happens,
Yeah.
and
I've been dealing with that
yeah,
all morning. So yeah, lots of fun.
Really?
Hmm.
that's
Oh
oh,
yeah.
big time,
Massive
bro.
outage, like global.
But are you in the bush or are you at work?
No, I'm at work today, unfortunately.
All right.
One of
Awesome.
my
Yeah.
techs was upset because he
Again,
couldn't order a Starbucks because it's affected.
Oh dang.
Yeah,
what?
he ran
So
out of
you
K
Uh,
cups. So
Oh, that's awful, man.
that's a 911. Yeah.
has it been nonstop then support people bitching about getting into
Uh,
SaaS Alerts or is it
No,
not
no,
affecting it? Okay.
Uh,
we can talk about that a little bit when we get a couple other folks in here. It looks like we've got a banner number
something.
coming in today. It just keeps coming.
It's a
Um,
party.
Funny.
good morning or good afternoon, however it is for all y'all. Um, anybody who's new here, I see at least one new face or one I don't remember, which is entirely possible. Um, we all try to get together like this every couple of weeks and talk about technical stuff. So if you have any really important burning questions like how to get rid of those leaves in your backyard or anything else, just give a
Got rid
shout.
of
That's
my
what we're here
leaves.
for.
Thank you.
Did you buy a leaf blower and just blow them
I
over
already
the fence?
had a leaf. No, I already had a leaf blower, but yes, I did blow them over the fence because there's just nothing but woods beyond my fence. So I'm like, you know what? Mother Nature can have them back.
I just
Anybody
mow
who
over those,
just mulch it up. Yeah,
mulch it
absolutely.
up.
Yeah.
Good for
Anybody who
them.
slept in or who's West Coast or further west than some of us, yeah, Cloudflare had a big outage. It was down, and then it was up and down, and now it looks to be stable. If anyone has not seen how they do their random number generators, Google Wave Machine and Cloudflare, Google lava lamps and Cloudflare. It's kind of a fascinating story. Um, that's like us here at Cloud. That's a Cloud Jumper. So, geez, Cloud Jumper, SaaS Alerts. Um, there were a couple of things. Graphas was a little bit affected at the rest of the Kaseya ecosystem. You couldn't get into the UX because we do use Cloudflare to protect ourselves and you guys and all of our clients. Um,
Oh, Anthony, you're
but
breaking
that's
up.
the sorry, how's that? Any better?
I think it's probably your internet. It was kind of being goofy.
I blame Cloudflare. Um, so yeah, Cloudflare really only affected our UX. Everything in the background going API to API, we were still collecting data. We never stopped collecting data.
Oh, yeah.
The respond and automation and all that is siloed up. So it kept doing its thing and kept pushing automations back to Microsoft and Google, as well as tickets into your systems. And for anybody who's sort of new to the SaaS Alerts ecosystem, even if there's a break, imagine there's an API break, somebody, whatever, turns off the API or the API key fails. The minute that API key is restored, we have processes that go and backfill. We look for anything that we might have missed and reprocess those. So it's a fairly robust system. We had one time, let's be honest, in the last 5 years where it was a problem, but that was many, many moons ago. So we don't expect that the Cloudflare outage messed with anybody's ability to operate, except if they needed to log onto the platform.
Who
It's
needs
a
to do
small
that?
thing, but yeah.
Yeah. Just use the API for everything.
And then there are guys who do. Ben, how are you?
Delightful. You?
Oh, just a bloody beautiful day out here. Um, as always, I kind of like want to open the table. Does anybody have any questions technically? Anything you're seeing that's making you scratch your head or pound your head on the wall, or anything on the platform that's making you smile?
I do, but give me about 10 minutes because I'm just finishing something up here with a
All righty. Well, until then, we'll just chat with Eva. Um, I'd let's see what's happening in new. Actually, and this is kind of something I actually wanted to talk to some folks. If you're using Unify with a supported RMM, have you noticed any problems getting the Entra device ID directly from Microsoft? It's only presented during IAM events, logins, logouts, and OAuths and tokens and the like. But I was with a gentleman today. He was seeing for one of his clients, a bunch of people were not presenting the Entra device ID in Microsoft. However, Datto was picking it up without issue. So I wanted to see if anybody else, I was talking to Ben before the call, he had a couple of ideas. Has anybody else struggled with anything similar?
Just
I
you,
guess not.
Anthony.
I'm my own special snowflake today.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, that's good. Ben, was there a specific plugin that better presents that? Not being pulled into it, not just not, thanks for asking, Cam. We were looking at alerts where Microsoft had said Bob logged in, and our Datto RMM said Bob logged in on this device at this time, IP, a bunch of that matched up. And Datto was presenting the Entra device ID, but Microsoft was not. And that was kind of new to me. Now, Ben mentioned there might have been something happening across a browser, but wouldn't have that have been a WCSS, Ben? Because in this case, it was an IAM event. It was a person logging in.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I haven't tested it out before, but there is. I've heard people saying that if you unless you make a change or or install a plugin, that it won't send the Entra ID. So
Interesting.
yeah.
All right, if you dig that up, throw it in the chat.
And if it doesn't send it, then I assume we can't correlate with it. So
Yeah, if the
let's
data's
see.
not there, we can't link up to it. Austin, what's on your mind, man?
Hey, morning, y'all. So, I just was wondering, I have had a rule that looked for like a description detail that I'm finding is like highly coordinated with threat actor activity, and it seems like the IOCs basically every event. So like, let's say an auth failure comes in, but it's like an interrupted sign in, like from a VPN. And let's say it's on our risky ASN list, right? So it seems like kind of from what I'm seeing that like that will fire for that IOC and then stop processing IOCs, right? Like it's seeming like one event cannot spawn 5 IOCs. Like, and that's just, and it's, and it could just be that my syntax is wrong, right? And that's why I'm not getting multiple ones. So like it totally could be user error. But I really don't think it is. Like I went over it with a fine tooth comb. There's no reason it shouldn't have fired. And then like for a respond rule, if there's one event, like it can make 6 tickets. And whenever I have something come in and like one event makes 8 alerts, I'm like, dude, we're doing something right. Like we caught him 8 ways to Sunday. So anyway, so like, yeah, I'm just wondering if IOCs, if one event can trigger multiple IOCs, or if that's something y'all have seen. Like I know you
That
can
makes
stack
sense.
IOCs on top of each other,
Yeah.
but more like
I
one
would.
basic triggering multiple IOCs.
I don't know. I guess I would have to create 2 IOCs that are, I guess, nearly identical and see if they trigger.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, we could test it, but no, I mean it should trigger no matter what. There's not it's not like a rule system where it stops processing after the first one over.
Right.
But yeah, if it is doing that for you, that would not be intended behavior for sure.
Okay. So
Let's see.
maybe what I should do is make my own rule to test, just make 2 indicators. And like if, the account name is Austin and he opens up file name and then just, give it a file name that I'm
Yeah.
about to open and then just see if, one event can trigger twice.
Yeah, and I can do that for you too. I'm signing in now to see if it's that
Okay,
way
I
you don't have to.
appreciate it.
That's the weird thing about ISCs. You can't delete them. You just archive them, which I think is really weird.
Right.
But so I
Uh-huh.
was like, I don't want you to have to create a duplicate and in your OCD kick in and be like, oh, now I got 2 of these things.
Austin, Austin, while he's doing that, if you're using a PSA or email flow, under settings, PSA and email, you can generate test events. So you don't have to actually open that file. You could just say, Austin, this client, Microsoft, did this action, create the event, then fire the event. So it's a great way of testing those.
Interesting.
Yeah. And the nice thing is, careful with this, you can stack multiple events. Austin logged in on a VPN, Austin logged in from Uzbekistan, and then fire all of them at once to test any kind of IOCs or respond rules that have multiple steps.
Okay, that's awesome. I did not, and then how do you test it?
When you fire those events, you'll see them come in very clearly as test event, test event, test event. But because the event is happening as far as the platform
Sure.
knows, if there's a respond rule that's going to lock you out, you're going to lock yourself out. So that's why just be a tiny bit
Right.
careful with that.
Okay, it's under settings, PSA and email. Okay.
Yep. Mhm.
Okay, that's
Yep, and
awesome.
you might have to fire, you have to play with it a little bit. It's not intuitive. You create the event, then you fill all the stuff in, then you create the event, and then it's available for running. And then you can create second and third events if you choose, and then fire at the bottom. It'll make
No, this
it
is
won't make any
amazing.
more
I
sense,
literally
but
almost submitted a feature request yesterday for like a how conditional access has a like a what if. Like this is literally SaaS Alerts what if. Like this is amazing. So awesome.
hey, there's a reason we show up for these. It's a big platform, does a
Yeah.
lot of crazy stuff, and we forget about it half the time.
Uh-huh.
Um, Austin and Ben, I'm going to put a pin in that and jump over to Arturo. Arturo has a question about, is there a way to connect to a local domain controller? The short answer is no. And you're right. What you're seeing is if you had a respond rule that fired and locked out an account in the cloud, every 20 minutes, Azure AD pushes up that change and says, hey, it's unlocked on-prem, unlock it in the cloud. So this is going to stop the bad guy. And if he's persistent, he'll be back in 20 minutes to try again. So that is a challenge. But at least we are stopping that the first time and then the second time and the third time. And you can do some figuring from there. And going down that thought path, Arturo, how many of those accounts that are on-prem actually need to echo to the cloud? A lot of times we'll find some, very experienced guys who are just like, oh, we echo everything to the cloud. That on-prem scanner account or whatever, if it doesn't need to be part of your attackable surface, don't. Arturo,
And
holler at me
we're
if you have
working
any
on something.
questions.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Anthony, we're working on something for that too. So
Oh,
that
that's
isn't
amazing.
that is in the works. The biggest hurdle is the which agent we use. Like, do we use the RMM? Do we use like Rocket Cyber if they have Rocket Cyber? Things, that's the question that needs to be answered. But that is something that we are that has been brought up to us because our competitors do it. So
And again, we've evolved from day one, just work in the cloud. So it sort of says that in the name. Now that we're part of the big Kaseya umbrella, we do have access to the resources like the Rocket Cyber agent that we could not easily, but fairly easily tie into. So that's something we're absolutely looking at. And just how that works out as a business model and everything else is a big question. But today, Arturo, the answer is clean up on aisle 9 and then decide if that thing actually needs to exist in the cloud.
there's something out you could use. I hate to recommend this, but you could use a third-party tool to achieve that as well. Uh, Something that basically it would be either Zapier, N8N, or maybe Roost. We talked to a couple people using Roost that have agents on those, and we do have integrations with Roost. So if you're using that, in theory, you could set up an automation that if an account is locked, by SaaS alerts, that it executes a command on your domain controller. It's just we don't have currently, like I said, we don't use agents, so we would have to rely on like the RMM or Rocket Cyber.
Something third party. And again, that's just the platform and us evolving. So watch this space, no promises. And if anything does come about, it's probably going to be this time next year because we got some
Yeah,
big stuff happening in the spring.
Yeah, I don't think we'd ever have a SaaS Alerts agent, but the plan is to use the connections that we have. It would
But
just
we're not going to recreate the wheel that's been recreated in 3 other applications.
well, yeah, and it's like nobody wants to install another freaking agent. Like there's already so many icons in your bottom right hand corner of your screen that nobody's like wants another one. But we do, since we do have those API connections to the RMM, in theory, it would make sense for us to be able to execute commands. I mean, like we're doing with Datto EDR with like isolation, like that is a
Yeah.
command sent to an agent to perform an action. It's the same thing with SaaS alerts. So it is something they're looking at.
Thanks for teeing up my next question. Sean asked a very good question about best practices of leveraging the info coming from SentinelOne. Sean, welcome. I don't think we've seen you before. If you have any questions, just shout them out and talk over me. Otherwise, I'll talk all day. Um, I'm trying to pull up our platform here to show you, Sean. But if you look under settings and customize alert severity, you can sort by, okay, here it comes. You can sort by the different applications to see what the APIs present. Not every application shares the same data. And today, I'm pretty happy with, let me go grab this settings and share this. Give me 1 second, folks. Boy, share my screen. Ben, are we seeing the settings platform, settings of the platform? I just had some weird audio ness.
I was gonna say, I said no. I said, but we are seeing your bank account and your vineyard's doing really well.
What I was trying to say was under customize alerts, I can select, hey, what do I get out of CloudTrail? What is AWS sharing via API? What am I getting out of Microsoft?
hmm
Fairly robust, about 86 different things. What am I getting as far as syslog data and application data out of SentinelOne? Not too bad, about a dozen different things. So we're seeing failures, logins, logouts, that stuff. Some things happening within the application, like, hey, did somebody reset their password? Did one of your senior engineers promote one of or give one of his junior engineers access? These sorts of things. It's not super robust. This is a growing list because, like what we're doing with some of the things in Datto EDR, as far as actions we know are capable using that agent kind of philosophy in um, in the ecosystem. We're using Rocket Cyber agents and the like. So this is by far not all we're going to see out of this. For anybody that's new to the call, these lists grow. You know, when we started off, there was like I think we've had 30 things that we monitored. Now we're at 10x of that. So look for this to continue to evolve. Righty. Sean, holler if that didn't answer your question. Same thing for you, Arturo.
No, that's great. That does answer my question. Thank you. But I'm just thinking, I guess there might be a way to take that sort of one step further to correlate those SentinelOne alerts with alerts coming through SaaS alerts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So think about this, and this is really where we are right now, Sean. It's not one-to-one, but I want to give you an example. My buddy Ben lives in the Carolinas, goes on vacation. He's down there in Key West, Florida. Ben is terrible at taking a vacation because at 7 a.m. he's up there doing some work. Well, his wife hits him in the head enough times that he says, okay, we'll go downstairs and have breakfast. And he forgets to close his laptop. He left an open laptop up and running. He's logged in. Now he's human. We all make that kind of mistake. Knock, knock, knock. Housekeeping. In comes an unscrupulous maid, sees a work laptop, plugs in a thumb drive, starts running some command level stuff. None of that is going to the cloud, but that on-prem agent bad behavior and report it to SaaS Alerts as an orchestration engine that could then reach down to Rocket Cyber and tell it to execute maybe isolate device, maybe lock down, maybe reach into the cloud and lock down Ben's account So a lot of the platform is about pulling data from disparate sources and figuring out what I would do if I had all this in front of me. So
Yep.
we continue to evolve, and pulling from multiple data sources has been from day one. We've always done that, Sean.
Awesome.
And if you're in front of your clients, that's the easy sell right there. Hey, my Visa card's being used in Paris, lock that sucker down. Visa is not talking to MasterCard. So while my MasterCard's being used in Buenos Aires, what if I had one place that could see both of those things happening? That's the real one. I think one of the real advantages of SaaS Alerts, because we're sort of agnostic like that. I want to monitor everything with a good API. Keep those questions coming, Sean.
All right. Thanks.
Yep. Let's see, Austin, no disable right back. Hey, and actually that brought up a question. Austin, if you're still here, are we aware? Oh, sorry, you're just hidden underneath the tab. And somebody smarter than me is going to have to tell me the answer here. Is there some level of licensing now that AD Sync is gone and we use Connect Sync? Is there some level of licensing you can pay Microsoft to allow write back? So if I lock something in the cloud, it locks it on-prem, or is that strictly a third-party thing?
As of 6 months ago or 5 months ago, when I did my last super deep dive, there was no way, and even if it's interconnect, I'm just using the old name, but yeah, there was no way to do it.
Good, solid questions, guys. Love having this kind of feedback, good and bad. Anybody else got anything top of mind? Anything that this is brought up while Ben collates and distills his research?
Yeah, I'm ready, I think.
Bring it.
I had a broken connection in our tenants. I needed to reconnect Rocket, and this is the SIM integration, I think. I had to delete it and re-add it. I couldn't just re-auth, and I had to rematch all the orgs. Does that wreck anything or clear any data?
No, but it's a pain in the ass.
It wasn't that bad.
I told Adam, I said all the other platforms, like if something breaks, there's an edit and we can just reconnect the API.
Yeah.
I said so, and he's like, yeah, that's not intended. So there's a fix coming out. It should be out in the next week or so. It obviously shouldn't happen, but if it does happen, you shouldn't have to delete it and recreate it. So
Wicked.
yeah.
Well, it can happen. I mean, you might
It
delete the
does.
API or yeah. I just want to make sure I didn't wreck anything because I just went in there, blew it away, added it back, relinked all the orgs, and then I was like, oh, maybe I should have asked.
No, you're all good.
First.
You're good. You're good.
And then other question, when onboarding, do I need to do anything for managed or SIM? Do I need to do anything in SA in SaaS Alert at all than to manually go back and add?
Exactly.
It really is. Now, to be honest, anybody who's looked at organizations and pencil icon for one of your clients, you're going to notice that there's a billing area. Let me go actually pull this up.
Yeah.
So we've seen this because I don't want to promise that this is going to be this way forever. Give me 1 second to figure out how to share my screen one more time. Oh, I think I need a new company laptop, and this thing is so slow.
Really? Well, that's pretty quick.
Alrighty. Yeah, well, it's a personal laptop and I spent a mint on it, so it bloody well better be fast. All joking aside, so if I'm looking at a client, notice, and this is something that's sort of new in the last 6 months, laying the groundwork, is the license types. So your domain has to be in there, and the license type. For anybody who's legacy, you're going to end up with standard. Everybody else that's met us in the last 13 months, it's going to be 365 user. If your legacy and you have MSA, standard plus KSIM, or 365 user plus KSIM, that's for most of the folks that have gotten here who are saying, you know what, I want ops, I want endpoint, I want everything. That's where they're going to end up. Now today, exactly what Ben said, tell the salesman, that doesn't change. If you've bought the, minimum 100 seats or whatever it is, and you have 1,000 seats, Ben and his team are covering everything.
Yeah.
Eventually that could change, which is why set those and there will be plenty of notice when this happens, but internally we're moving to a different kind of billing system that should make you a lot happier because we're going to stop billing. There's just not going to be any of the true ups and things that are happening now. So look for that to change probably by this time next year, where it'll be important to have those licenses set to the right one, because I don't want to bill you for, something and not deliver services just because you didn't flip a switch to 365 plus SIM.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's why I keep getting billed 600 overages every month, because looking at mine, they're set to standard, and maybe the new ones are set to K365, so it's
The
no?
billing
Okay.
system can't see that right now. So
Okay.
what you may be seeing, Tina, let's imagine that a partner contracts for 200 seats. We've never cared about high watermarks. So next month you have the opportunity, you bring on a new client, it's 250, it's 280. Well, let's say this is, you load them up here in November. The December 1 bill is going to be for your contracted amount of 200, even though you're carrying 250. Now, January 1, it's going to catch up what happened in December, and you'll get billed for the contract minimum plus the extra 50 for the 250. Except by now, you've gotten another client. So you're sitting at 300 on December 31st. Well, January 1st, it's going to catch up what happened on December. It's horrendously complicated, and it makes budgeting and forecasting a little bit of a challenge. Just know that there will be a true up 30 days after it happens. Now, Chip swears on a stack of Bibles this high that this is all going to get fixed any second now. So
Should I
think
be
by the time
changing mine? Like you have
it's
to add the domain to be able to do it.
you have yeah, you have to have
Should
the
I be
domain.
changing mine or just
I
leave
think
it?
you've got only 2 clients left before you retire, Tina. It's going to be easy for you. No, I think it is time well spent. It's a
Okay.
good chance to go in there and make sure you've touched all those bases. So yeah, I mean, in all your spare time, have your junior assistant go right in there and do all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
Um,
for all the rest of us, that's a summer intern.
I'll tell these on Thursday too for wins, but yesterday I love it when shit happens. I just it's so boring when nothing happens. So yesterday somebody in town had a compromise. He's a well-known person in town, so it went out to all. I live in a small town for anybody that doesn't know that. Me and 20,000 of my closest friends. So this email went out, compromised account, email went out with a link to a bid, just a standard thing. And I had 2 of my clients click on it. And I knew about it before they knew about it, which is awesome with our alerting. But this one I really love. I am fast. And I went in, at first I went in and I revoked sessions and MFA. And then I moseyed over and reset password and whatever. And then I moseyed over and realized the account was already locked. Oh, I know what, I went to force sign out, and you can't do that if the account's already blocked sign in. And I was like, it beat me. So I just love that shit. I love going in there and seeing it already blocked. And prior to managed and SIM, I didn't turn on any of the respond roles. We were just monitoring, so I didn't get to see that right from the get-go, but I love it. Thanks, guys.
We really appreciate that, Tina. And yeah, it is fun. Who gets to slap the off button first?
Yeah.
Tina, you actually brought up a good question. How are you doing a token flush and a lock of the account? Were you doing it on the SaaS Alerts platform, or did you just jump into Microsoft?
No, can I do that from SaaS Alerts? I log into the tenant. We use Lighthouse. Log into the tenant, into Azure ENTRE admin portal, and do it from the user. Show
Excellent. Well, Ben, did you want to, or shall I?
What's that?
All right.
Go ahead.
Ben fell asleep. We're gonna.
I'm here mostly.
Okay. This is something that I've recently gotten squeaky wheel about. Anybody who's using, there it goes, the management tool. I like it a lot because I can jump in here
Hmm.
and very quickly change this to select, and I can see all the accounts. And from right here, I could block sign in. What I've asked for is a token flush button here as well.
Mhm.
So if
Right.
we've all had this call, HR is like, I want you on the phone call when we let this guy go at 5 o'clock. All you have to do is hit block sign in, and that's going to kick him out. But there's definitely going to be times when I'm seeing some strange behavior. If you're in the platform, I personally think it'd be nice to be able to just hit the flush tokens, or maybe if there's something running wild,
Mhm.
flush tokens for everybody,
Yeah.
kick out
Yeah,
those
because you can
bad
do it
guys.
through the API, so there's really no reason why you couldn't do it through here.
Yeah, no, because we have that functionality in Respond. Why is
Yeah.
it not here?
Yeah.
Because I haven't
You
complained
can
loud
you
enough,
can do it
apparently.
on demand through the API. I mean, like it literally,
Huh.
it's all the actions are there through the API.
Mhm.
Like I could flush tokens, I can reset passwords, all that stuff I can do through the API. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody who's neck deep in API and new to the call, definitely check go to the knowledge base, search for Swagger Hub. Everything's in there. I mean,
Mhm.
it's Ben does some pretty amazing stuff. Check back on YouTube. We've had a couple of calls where he walked through what he was doing with automation and A and examples
Mhm.
of, and definitely check out um, uh, our friends at Roost. There's an entire subreddit or subsection
Yeah.
about what people are doing with Roost and SaaS alerts. Don't reinvent the wheel.
Sweet, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. If you don't want to, if you don't
Um,
want to pay for Roost to, and it is free. So just saying.
oh, there we are. Sam, does that make sense? About to lock this account?
Oh yeah, no, I was busy typing up that question right before you set up the screen share and answered the
Great
question.
minds.
So
Great minds. Yeah. Yeah. That's fantastic. How are we doing? We've got plenty of time. I know we've had a couple of people join late. We've been talking about a lot of stuff, but any of you, like our friends here in the Bay Area who just joined us, any technical questions we can dive into, any questions about the platform or Cloudflare or, I don't know, Wall Street bets, anything that's on your mind? All right. Is it possible to block sign in before an attacker signs into the account? Arturo, that's a great question. Basically, we are reactive. I have to wait for Microsoft to tell me something is happening before I can go do something about it. Now, that is, you're right about conditional access. Conditional access, even if I had a valid username and password, conditional access stops me after I'm through the first security gate. But we could still detect that, So I know that somebody from Uzbekistan has my username and password, was able to successfully log in, and conditional access stops them, or MFA stops them, or something like that. All of that's visible in the platform. To get any more proactive than that is a little tough, but there is one thing we can do. And for anybody that's new to the call, I get to show off my screen. And I don't think I've shared my screen this much in a year, man. Um, There are some things, whoops, actually, that's where I want to be. Under settings, let's say Sujit's trying to. Ben, can you let Sujit in? I've lost my pointer here.
Yeah, he's already in.
Okay, fantastic. Oh, I got there. So one of the things we're doing using something like power filters is defining where activity is allowed and expected. So for most of your clients, most of the people in this call, hello, Jan, are going to be the United States or your home country. Now, that's giving you conditional access by location, even for clients that don't feel like paying for Microsoft licensing. Now, we can also do that by ASN and some other stuff. But where I'm going with this is under Fortify, Fortify is all about putting controls and policies in place. Anybody who hasn't heard my speech on that, I'm happy to never say that again. But one of the tools that we've developed was this, DYN for dynamic, a conditional access policy that would proactively block bad guy activity, any activity, from a known bad IP. Well, where do we get that list of known bad IPs? Folks, we're up to 1.4 billion alerts that we see every day. SaaS Alerts and Kaseya are seeing a ton of activity all over the globe. It's an immense data set. It is truly terrifying in its size. But one of the nice things is we can now programmatically see every time a respond rule fires against there, every time we see bad guy behavior from someplace. If I see it enough, it goes on that compromised IP list. And if you put this control in place, every night we're going to reach down to your clients and update it with any new emerging threats, remove any IPs that have gone green for a month. It is a very dynamic process. And the value for your clients is this. Arturo, I'm looking your way. If a client has their credentials socially engineered out from underneath them, if a client falls for a token theft, and we all know that's going to happen, those credentials will not work if that bad guy is sitting behind a known bad IP. So that is one way we can proactively stop a bad guy from being successful with a token theft.
Do you
That
want to
data set-
show them the conditional access policy management under Fortify?
I want you to.
Oh, all right.
I want to backseat drive you for a few minutes.
Fine.
Also, I don't know what you're talking about.
Snapshots.
Snapshots. Ben, tell us about snapshots because there's been some evolution in the reporting and in the snapshot world.
Yeah. Well, reporting is fun, but so a lot of people I've noticed don't have knowledge of what we can do with conditional access policies. For those of you who are using that, I've always been asked the question of should I be using conditional access policies or can I replace SaaS alerts with a conditional access policy? And I think you hit it, Anthony. It's basically conditional access policies is preventing them from getting in. If they do get in, that's when we react. But this, you can import your conditional access policies from any of your tenants and use this tool to deploy them across any of your other clients. So that can be a big time saver, especially if you have, 20 clients and you have to create 20 policies if you just had the one. So what you do here is basically you can import your snapshot. You select the organization that you want to import from, and you choose which one you want to import the conditional access policies Intune, or also added the Defender anti-phishing, anti-spam policies, so you can configure and tweak those as well. Haven't played around with those yet, so I'm not going to jump on that. But basically, you give this a name, and let's just going to call it test. And what it does is it reaches out to this tenant and retrieves all of the conditional access policies that are in here. And in a second, assuming I haven't ticked off. Yeah, any second now. Hopefully I haven't ticked off. If not, I'm just gonna might bail out and show you here. Yeah, as soon as I click this X, it's gonna flash up my conditional access policies. I'm gonna do it anyway. So basically when you ours is a little bit of a chaotic environment. Yours won't be as bad, but it will show you this screen right here with all of your conditional access policies that you have. And this is really cool because you can look at all of them and you can also customize them. So if there's something that you don't like, maybe you want to deploy them, but not in an enabled fashion, you can go change them to report only. You can adjust some of these parameters. You can add new parameters. Like maybe you want to include groups, exclude groups, include IP addresses, whatever. And then once you've finished customizing them, deploying them is really just a matter of coming in here and modifying the organizations and just adding them over, basically adding them over here. And then when you hit apply, confirm, it will push out that policy to that environment. So I say all this because I wanted to cover this in one of the office hours, but I don't think we ever got a chance to. I had somebody come to me on Discord and was like, "Hey, one of my guys deployed a conditional access policy, and it has locked me out of the account, and now I'm on the phone with Microsoft, and can you help me, please?" And I'm like, "I don't think we can." As I do you have conditional access? Do you have Fortify connected? He said yes. He said, "Okay, that's interesting." So what I did is I retrieved the conditional access policies from his tenant, and I found the one that had blocked him. Let's pretend it's legacy authentication. And I'm like, okay, well, let's see what I can do. I edited it and I said, okay, well, I'm going to turn it off. So I'm going to set it to report only. I can't really delete it from here. But when I went to apply it, it basically gave me an error and said, sorry, this one already exists. So I was like, well, that's annoying. And then I started looking under add parameters, and there's an option here down at the bottom here, disable existing policy. So I
Wow.
enabled that, and when I deployed it again through the same exact organization, just added it under organization, it overrode it and disabled it, and he was able to get in. So you can, in theory, bail yourself out by overriding existing ones.
Ben, there's a couple of questions in chat. Before we get there, I do want to say doing this manually still has its place. A lot of our partners have manually built out one golden tenant. It's a silly name, but man, if you got one guy tuned up exactly the way you like, then snapshot that, then updating all the rest of your clients is easy. Now, Ben, check me on this because I know this is the same for templates. If I have a snapshot applied to 10 tenants, if I update that snapshot with something new, does it update all those 10 tenants?
I think you would have to I don't think our system pulls the information from the golden tenant again and then applies it. It would basically be if you made a change in here, then yes, it would in theory deploy that out. And I believe there's a sync history that it kind of operates off of right here. So you can see like the sync errors. And if there is one, and you'll see that it was deployed. And it'll tell, hey, why was this an error? Because it was forbidden or something. But yeah, it does do that. It seems like on a pretty frequent basis. It looks like, let's see here, midnight, and looks like it does it every like, was
The
it 12
job,
hours now?
yeah,
Yeah,
well, the
no,
job
4.
triggers every night, and depending on how much work it's got to do,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
may be a little bit variable in that. But I thought, knock wood, it was supposed to do it every 24 hours.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. But it's not going. It doesn't treat that golden tenant as the single source of truth. It basically just says, "Hey, I'm gonna pull that information in." And chat's killing me. I'm gonna pull that information in, and then I'm going to use that information and whatever changes you make in here, because this kind of like makes them. They're almost like templates. If you look at these and you look at templates, they're very close, right? Almost identical. So that's kind of how it operates. But
Now, Ben, I swear we're going to get to the questions in just a minute, but help me understand, why do we have templates different than snapshots, and why are conditional access snapshots different from Defender apps snapshots, which are different than Intune snapshots?
basically just different parts of Microsoft, really. Like the Intune snapshots are for Intune device management. And that's, basically just a different part of Microsoft's ecosystem.
Amanda
But
was
yeah.
talking about this yesterday, and I knew the answer, but I want to make sure all of you did. This is functionality of how Microsoft's world is laid out. I
Hmm.
can't have a snapshot that reaches in to 3 different pieces efficiently and reproducibly. So that's why we have to break it out here because of Microsoft.
Also, they haven't fixed the highlighting thing. If you click on this, it is highlighted. It's just not telling you what it is.
Well, UX.
No, I haven't done these yet, though. I'm kind of curious about this.
Sujit, did you want to come off mute, or if you have a moment, if you're in a spot to ask your questions? I think, yeah, I think Ben would be benefit from that.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, sure thing. Hold on, I gotta scroll up the chat because I'm trying to work and ask questions at the same time. Oh yeah, so I had started pushing out the Fortify like anti-spam policies and such that layer over the default Microsoft ones.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I just had noticed with that policy, so for a lot of our tenants, we tend to have external forwarding disabled in our kind of high level policy there. But I
Mm-hmm.
saw in the case for SaaS Alerts, it does not. And I didn't know if that was by design to kind of, catch something or keep an eye out for something, or are we able to then go in there and modify that policy if we did want that? Or would
You
that get
should.
rewritten nightly?
I think you should be able to change that. I haven't played around with importing those into this snapshots yet, but any of the settings you see in those collections are basically Microsoft's recommended settings.
Yep.
Some of them I don't agree with. Some of them I think should be a little bit more, higher up. But yeah, but you can customize a couple of them. I don't know if that's one of them. Let's look.
Okay, I'll mess around with that one. I had a brand new tenant that we were just kind of hitting them with everything and then seeing where they complain just to kind of build a new baseline here for security.
Love
Yep.
that.
Wait for them to squeal.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's been good
Absolutely
actually.
love
We got them
that.
up to 95% secure score and they've had zero
Right on.
complaints. So
That's fantastic.
Yeah, well,
Congratulations.
What do they have for licensing it to get to 95?
a business premium. Oh, I think you hit mute, Tina.
Yeah, I just said 95 on business premium.
well, so
Send me your templates, Sajid.
so like this one right here, this one is the recommended action for like the app control is to basically say that
Mhm.
there has to be an approved publisher. But I'm like, if you can get away with blocking every app, then you don't have to really worry about if it's approved publisher because like Perfect Data Software is an approved publisher, but it's used maliciously. And so like Microsoft's recommended best practice does not align with what I think you should be doing, which is basically say every app requires consent. But that's just a prime example of Microsoft. I guess they
Yeah.
set the bar kind of not like low, but low enough for people not to really complain. But if you can get away with it higher, then I would say go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, the app consent one I can actually understand. We were just dealing with that issue this morning
Yep.
because we had people with existing apps. Every time they would try to add it for an existing user, even though it's approved at an org level,
Mhm.
the admins were just getting hit with so many requests. They were like, you know
Yeah.
what? They're like, get rid of this. You
Yep.
guys just monitor via SaaS alerts and we'll leave it at that.
There you
So
go. That works too. Yeah. Yeah. But
There are
yeah,
a lot
so
of things that Microsoft doesn't implement by default
Mhm.
because they grew up on-prem. Let's be honest, those of us who grew up in the cloud, hello Google, disallow sharing by default. Microsoft had to make this easy and acceptable to get people to adopt the whole concept of doing this 40 years ago. And some of that philosophy is stuck. So there's a lot of these things that, hey, Microsoft says block a block sign into or delete shared mailboxes, block sign into shared mailboxes. Do they make that a default policy? No. Do they do it automatically? No. Is there a policy in there in Microsoft to do that? Sure. But why would they do that? Makes no sense to me. I'm sorry, Ben. I think I
I was
interrupted you.
playing around with, no, I was playing around with the other, this is something new that we're working on is these defender policies. I was checking to see if there's anything in there. There might not be anything in my tenant, but yeah, pretty new icons. Now there was something I wanted to say, but I completely blanked. So I'll probably remember it as soon as we get off the call.
I had a question about the syntax for contains. I just wanted to make sure that it didn't view forward slashes as like escape, like how like in like SQL or stuff like that. Well, it's never forward slash, it'd be a backslash. But anyway, I just wanted to make sure that like for contains, it's just like straight, does this contain like this exact set of text? And it's not like matches pattern where, certain things are more like regex.
Yeah.
Does that question make sense?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. I think the way that our database works kind of ignores special characters, so it would basically
Cool.
see it as a kind of a nothing, which I think worst case it may consider it a space, but yeah, I don't think,
Mm,
yeah, I would have to test that to see.
Okay, because I'm wondering if that's like what is going wrong with like this one that I can't get to trigger. Like even
Mhm.
though like there's no reason that it shouldn't, you know, be triggering basically.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah, let me know. And shoot me a message on Discord and show me kind of what you're doing, and I can do some tests
okay,
too. And if it's a bug with that, then we can take a look at it.
awesome. All
Mhm.
right, I appreciate it. And
We
then
all-
did you ever did you get two IOCs to trigger on one event?
let's see. Let's see
It was so
if it
45
fired.
minutes
Yeah,
ago.
I know, right? It should, right? Assuming I set up my rule right. Now Cloudflare's making me determine if I'm a person or not twice. All right, good. Go file over. All right, let's see. I know, resume. So I have this one, and then I have this one. Time would be, all right, so the date and time is a little different, but let me see what the actual time and date is, not the, let's see. All right, so the time is 11:37, 13 seconds. 11:37, 16 seconds. It's quite possible that, let's see here, and this one was a file has been modified. File has been modified. I don't know if that's the exact same one or not. Let me see.
No worries. We can I can follow up
Yeah,
on Discord if I find out if I can get one event to trigger two IOCs.
they look different. I'm gonna do one modification of that file. I'm just gonna do a quick like save and see if it shows up once or twice. So like Microsoft does this auto saving thing. I don't want to want to make sure
Right,
I
yes.
like auto save and then
Uh-huh.
save, and that's two events. And so I'm seeing, oh yeah,
Yes.
the same save events. But no,
Right.
okay. I just did that, and I'll let you know. But yeah, ping me on Discord. We'll follow up.
Much appreciated.
Of course, of
Want
course.
to I want to turn left because Sam was having some questions about 2 weeks ago on this call about getting one of his prospects global admin credentials to connect. And as it turned out, it might have been something involved with Duo or something else, but I believe Sam finally got it worked out. Sam, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, we got them connected. It's just it was so weird. Their global admin would try to, different machines, different browsers, different delete the org, tear the apps out, start from scratch, tried everything. And then while working on basically a different issue for the same customer, had them set up an account for us so that we could access certain things. And I said, you know what? While I'm still doing this back and forth with SaaS Alerts, go ahead and make it a global admin so that I can just work with them on the side, and then only have to come bother you when we get it finished. And I used that account, and they used Duo Auth. He had to put in an exclusion for our account so that we could just use normal TOTP. But I went in, was like, you know what? Let me see if I can get this to work. Different account, and it just went through. Everything connected, and it was
Now,
okay.
Sam, that is a golden oldie. This predates Ben, so this is saying something. Back in the day, we noticed and could never reproduce this because clients were too busy. The first global admin account would connect up without issue, bring a client on board, get good telemetry. But sometimes subsequent global admin accounts, a second account, a third account, a fourth account, would not hook up, and we could never figure out why. And I just figured as our development team figured out some way to fix this. But when you said you were having that problem the other day, it brought back that memory. So has anyone had any challenges loading up a client to monitor on SaaS alerts that wasn't something like a proxy blocker or MFA or whatever? I haven't heard about that in forever, Ben. Okay. Sam,
That
that's
was
the only
one of
thing
the
I
things
saw.
that the support had asked. Well, like, is this like, the OG like admin account like built in? I was like, no, it's a named admin account. It's a different one.
Yeah. And see, your experience was the opposite of what I saw years ago. And this might have something that changed in Microsoft. We'll never know. But at that point, there were a couple of occasions where we would see that, hey, I created a dedicated account for SaaS Alerts. Great. That's good policy, right?
Mhm.
And it wouldn't work. And they couldn't connect. And it would just fail and it would fail and fail. And they try the first one that came with the account, hooked up every time. So strange.
Sorry, just so I
Thanks
don't
for
spread misinformation, you can get one event to trigger multiple IOCs. I don't know if it was like a weird, syntax issue or something like that, but I basically just made every possible combination of like contains or matches patterns. And
Mhm.
anyway, it is firing, and my one test event from the beginning of this call has triggered like 3 or 4 IOCs, and I've had to log back in twice. So anyway, yeah. So it does
Okay,
work.
good.
So anyway, kind of a
Excellent.
nothing
Good.
burger. But
Thanks for
yeah,
that,
just wanted to
Austin.
make sure.
I mean, we've seen some strange bugs before, so it's very
Yeah,
possible.
the generate test events was still super helpful. So thank you, Anthony.
Cool.
And thanks, Ben, for testing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Rich, that kind of expressing back to that, a global admin account should be a global admin account should be a global admin account if you're not inside GoDaddy or something. But Microsoft may have changed the rules. We actually saw some strangeness with clients that had been set up pre-2023 one point. And it wasn't just that auditing was turned off by default. Yeah, 3 global admins makes perfect sense to me, Ben. I mean, that's my most important access point, right? But I'm just going to blame Cloudflare for everything that's happened in the last 6 years and move on.
I remember what I wanted to say. I
Yes.
sent Tina this really interesting. She was she was wondering, why, how you got such a high score with premium. And if you guys haven't seen this website, it's very informative on the equation that they use to figure secure scores. So it's an ever moving target based off of your licensing. So I think, Anthony, you've seen it before. Like a partner
Right.
can have basically the free license and they'll have like a 99% secure score, and they're like, awesome, I'm totally secure. Nobody's getting in. And it's like, yeah, you have 99% because of the ones that you can apply, not of all the ones that are out there. So like getting the higher license, actually the less value that each control gives you. And so you actually have to apply more to get to the same point as someone with a free
Same
one is
number.
claiming that they're at. Yeah. So yeah, like it's
So
a
you're
fun
telling me if I move back to paper and pencil, I'll have 100%?
you will.
Yes, Suji, let's do it. I'm in.
So here's another fun fact. If you trial a higher license, those controls will unlock for you, but after the trial, they will relock, but they will still count as a possibility for your score that you can
That is
never get
why.
up. Yeah,
That is
it's a
good to
pain in
know.
the
Thank
ass.
you.
Yeah, it's
Because
like
we
I can't apply these.
Okay, we trialed P2 with all of our clients when we were looking at
Yep.
different ITDR products, you guys, Huntress, whatever. So that's interesting to know.
Fun, right?
How do
One of
you
my
ditch
partners told
that then?
that.
How do you revert back?
I don't
I mean,
know.
not that we
If
don't have
you
great scores, but
if
we
you if
put up
you
there.
if you find that out, you let us know.
Obviously, the fix is you buy the licenses again.
Love it.
Yeah.
So Sam, how's your stock doing?
I don't know. It's interesting to know that all we got to do now is remove
Just spend more money.
licenses,
That fixes
much.
everything.
Yeah.
that would be their
Guys,
answer, wouldn't it?
I want to thank you all very much for this. This was as good a call as it gets around here. We really appreciate the feedback, the questions, and the challenges. I know I'll see a bunch of you Thursday. Then, of course, Thanksgiving. We won't have one that week. So we'll see you all here the week after Thanksgiving. All the best for the holidays to you and yours if you're celebrating Thanksgiving. And if you're not, go out and eat like a pig is what we do here in America.
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 Thanks, y'all. Have a good one.
Thanks,
Take
everybody.
care, guys.
See you
Bye,
guys.
y'all.